Heather Perrin and Heather is going to be demoing all the lunges. Um, I know that we did a. Oh, there's some feedback in there. Can you lower that? Okay. So I know that we did a lunge tutorial. I think it was in December, in the first one. Yeah. So we're gonna redo that again. Okay. And this time it's gonna be better. You'll see the animation on this side right over here, right? And then you'll see also this is gonna be a three-quarter view of what Heather's doing, and then in this main screen over here, we'll have this main screen over here. We'll have basically the close-up. So we're going to start with the first lunge. The first lunge is the floor lunge. And so for the floor lunge, we basically are going to keep one black spring. Now, one thing about the spring, on the Mega Former, I recommend to not, to always have a spring on. In other terms, is to not do any exercise without the springs. But on the micro, it's very different because the weight of the micro, it's so light. The carriage is so light that you can actually do the exercise without the spring. So for this exercise, you can do it with one black. Up. There's a sound here. Someone said something? No? Okay. So for this exercise, I recommend one black or zero spring. Okay? So the exercise is done like this. You're going to start with your foot, left foot by the side of the platform. Your right foot is going to be on the carriage, and then you're going to slowly lunge down. And when you lunge down, you're basically going to flex the left knee, okay? So when you flex the left knee, I want that knee to be right above the ankle, and Christian is going to use his magic pencil, and he's going to draw over that. So that is the first alignment. So when we do any exercise during Lagree, we always focus on the body alignment. Yeah, from the left knee down to the left ankle, and then come up. That's it. There you go. So you can see as Heather is moving up and going down, she's not changing that alignment. That drives me crazy. You have no idea, guys. You know, when I teach lunges in class and I see basically now Heather's going to do it the wrong way, so that's the right way. So the wrong way is this. The wrong way is when you push that knee forward. I see that happening all the time. And basically what happens when you do this, your knee is going out of alignment, and you're putting a lot of excessive stress on the knee and on the connective tissue. So be mindful of the position of the knee when you do the lunge, and that is for all the lunges. So today we're going to go over all the lunges. Guess what I'm going to be talking about? The entire time, keep your knee stationary. The knee doesn't travel anywhere. There's not an exception for this one. There's never an exception. A lot of people, you know, ask for the position of the torso, if it should be upright or tilted. Well, it depends, okay? But when we come to the knee, it never goes anywhere. Period. End of the story. I could end the tutorial right now, and you guys have the truth. The knee is never, ever, ever, ever going anywhere. So it remains still, stationary, not moving. I don't know, you can say in Arabic, in French, in Italian, in Mexican. That knee is never, ever moving. Okay, so that's number one tutorial. The number two for the leg is Heather right now is going low, deep enough. So Christian, I need to draw another line. And you're going to draw that line from the left knee to the left hip, okay? So your femur, your thigh bone, when you lunge down, should be parallel to the ground. So make sure that line is parallel. So bring the line down. There you go. That's it. And then Heather, drop the hip down a bit more. There you go, right there. So I call this the golden angle. That 90-degree angle, that alignment right over here, okay, that's called the golden angle. Why is it called the golden angle? Because it is the angle which optimizes the integration of the quads, the hamstring, the glutes, inner thighs, and outer thighs. And then come back up slowly. Perfect. Okay? So the first two body alignment for the lunge. One is the position of the knee. The knee is always above the ankle. The knee does not travel forward or backward. That knee stays stationary. The second body alignment that you have to be mindful of is when you lunge down, you want to bring the hip bone to the level of the knee. So it's going to create between the lower leg and the upper leg is going to create a 90-degree angle called the golden angle. Okay, so that's for the legs. When you stand up, you're not going to stand up to a full stand, because what happens when you come to a full stand, come into a full stand, you lock that knee. So here, Heather can stand hours, okay? She could be waiting for the bus, which will never arrive, okay? So she can say this for days if she wants to. If you can do an exercise for days, then it's not challenging enough. So when you come up on that leg, I don't want you to lock that knee. I want you to keep it slightly bent. So what is slightly bent? There you go, just like that. That's it. You're going to know when it's slightly bent because all of a sudden, boom, your muscles are being tense, okay? So that is slightly bent. That's lock, so that's wrong, and that's right, okay? One more time. Lock that knee. That's wrong, and that's right, okay? So that's when you come up, you're going to have the leg slightly bent. You're never going to come up to a full stand where your leg is completely straight and your knee is locked. Any questions on that? Oh, yeah, the moderator may want to mute all participants, so go ahead. Do we mute everyone? Yes. Okay. Any questions about this so far, about those lunges? And by the way, you know, I'll keep on doing those tutorials for the lunge because I love the lunge. Okay. Not a big lunge guy. So when I was bodybuilding, not a big lunge guys at the gym because I think it's horrible just doing the straight weight. You're forced to move that knee back and forth. But on the Mega, on the Pro Former, on the Micro, all the other machine, phenomenal machine to lunge on because you can actually keep the proper body alignment and not hurt yourself. That's the thing. You're not hurting yourself when you do this exercise. Okay. So if you have no questions, I'm going to move the next one. Torso should be in an upright position. Okay. I don't know who came up with the idea that you should lean forward. No. You keep your body in an upright position. You can lean forward as a modification. That's fine. Okay, so if you stand up straight and you can feel like a lot of pressure in the lower back, or if it's really making the hip tight or whatever, then you can lean forward a little bit. That just like that, perfect, and that's okay. But that's not the exercise. That's a modification. When I teach my lunges, I never start telling people, okay, lean forward. No, I don't know who came up with this. This is wrong. Okay, you have to do the exercise standing in an upright position. Leaning forward is a modification. So leaning forward is not a wrong way to do it, okay, but it's not the right way. It's a modification, okay? Oh, I can still hear some sound. We have some sound. Is there a party in the background? Mute all, Christian, yes. Oh, good question from Elizabeth. Okay, does it matter where you put your foot on the carriage? Yes. Okay. Now the carriage is very small, but I would recommend to put the foot in the middle of the carriage, because if you put a lot of weight on just one side, sometimes it starts to tilt the carriage a little bit and it gets stuck. Okay, and that is with all the monorail. So you got to make sure that you keep your weight centered. If you put your foot, so Christian or Darwin, if we could have a close-up shot of Heather's foot on the carriage. So go ahead and Heather, put your foot all the way forward over here. I wanted them to see. There you go. So if you have your foot over here, guys, all the way forward, what happened is when Heather lunges, she's going to have a lot more tension because she's pushing the carriage all the way back. So I want you to look at where the carriage is going right now. Okay? She's almost touching the rear platform. Now come back up. And now go ahead and put your foot on the opposite side of the carriage. So look at that. Look at it. Look at the difference between here and there. There's that much difference, right? And it's almost the length or the distance between the foot here and then the foot on the front. Okay? So the reason why I'm pointing this out and the reason why you have numbers on the rail is that you can actually calculate your the amount of tension that you get from the spring. So the further you push the carriage out, the more you stretch the springs. The more you stretch the springs, the more tension you're going to get. So if you put your foot all the way at the back of the carriage, you're not going to move the carriage as far out, and you're not going to get as much resistance from that same spring. But if you move your foot all the way in the front of the carriage, then you're going to push the carriage all the way out. You're going to get all the extension on the spring, and then you're going to get the maximum weight from the spring. And I believe that the black spring is 20 pounds worth of tension. So if you are moving your foot on the back of the carriage, you'll probably get about half of that tension, about 10 pounds. But if you're moving your foot all the way on the front of the carriage, then you're going to get all 20 pounds of tension. Does that make sense to you guys? Are you okay with this? Yes? Yes? Okay. So it's a modification or variation, you know, a way to make the exercise easier or harder. If you feel that, oh, you know what, I feel like I need more support from the spring, then you would want to have your foot all the way on the front of the carriage. But by the way, let me ask you a question, since you guys are always very interactive, and I really appreciate that. Go ahead and put your foot on the middle of the carriage, okay? Now, what happens here if Heather moves a foot? If, let's say, Heather moves a foot back over here and they don't push the carriage, what is going to happen to the spring? What's going to happen to the carriage? What happens here? Oh, come on, guys, don't be shy. You know it. So if Heather moves her left foot back, look at what happens to the carriage. She's pushing the carriage all the way out again, right? So if you want to adjust the resistance you get from the spring, yeah, it gets more challenging, correct. Well, it doesn't get more challenging. It depends what challenging depends. That challenging could be a two-sword edge or whatever. Right? You know what I'm talking about. Okay, you're gonna get more support. Okay, so yes, so it could be challenging in a way that that there's more tension. But when you do the lunge, the tension is actually supporting you against gravity. So it's going to make it a little easier, you know, if you move the foot back. Okay, so she's getting more tension. So two ways she can get more tension: by moving the left foot, moving the foot on the floor back, or moving the foot on the carriage forward, right? Or she could do both. She could move the left foot back and the right foot forward, and then you'll see that she'll totally run out of space on the carriage. So now she's move the right foot forward all the way. There you go. So now she's running out of space. You see, she's completely going pushing the carriage out, and she's here, and then she's not able to go in that golden angle position, and then come back up. Okay, so the foot positioning on the carriage and on the floor is very important. And I will be coming up with a mat. I'm not sure when. It's going to be this year for sure, because there's all kinds of stuff we're working on right now. We're going to have a mat, and then Christian, can you give me a bird eye view, please? All right, so right over here, you can actually draw a rectangle that's going to go all the way around the micro, right? Go ahead. Yeah, that's it. Beautiful. I love it. Make that rectangle bigger, though. Make it big. Big like a mountain. There you go. All right, so stay right there. So very important. So I'm going to design a mat. That mat is going to have numbers, symbols, colors, letters, okay? So that you can identify where to put your feet, and also the amount of what's going to happen to the resistance when you move your feet on the floor, okay? But when you work out, try to visualize this invisible mat for now, but just know that the amount of resistance you're going to get from the spring does matter. It does make a difference. The wherever you put your feet on the floor on the carriage does matter, because it will affect the resistance you get from the spring, since we're working with a tension that's elastic, that is not static. Okay, let's go back in that floor lunge one more time. So the next alignment is, of course, so the torso. I want to go back in the torso. So I want the torso to be basically ears, shoulders, and hips should be all on one straight line. So go ahead, Christian. Draw that wonderful line that's going to go from the hips through the shoulders and through the ears. And you basically should have, there you go, you should have that kind of body alignment, you know, that torso really in a vertical position. But, okay, if you feel too much pressure in the lower back or in the hips, then it's okay to lean forward just a little bit. You don't have to lean a lot, just a little bit, and it will take the tension off the back, okay? Come back up. Now for the tempo, we want a slow and controlled tempo. So we do 4 counts on the way down, 4 counts on the way up. So go down 1, down 2, down 3, down 4. You can go down a bit more, keep going. Down 5. Heather goes like super slow, and it's better. The slower you go, the much better. And then come back up slowly. When you come up, you're not pushing on the toes. You are pulling from the heel. And I don't know if you can visualize this. It's a difference. When you push from your toes, you're going to have a tendency, I want to put all the effort on the quads. I don't want that. because we favor our quads all day long. You guys wear high heels. You know, if you spin a lot, it's all quads. If you run, it's all quads, all quads, all front, 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 all the fucking time, right? So when I first designed those lunges on the Megaformer, on the Proformer, even on the Reformer, always favor the back of the thighs just to bring an equilibrium, bring balance back in your muscles. So I do not want you to push from the toes. I want you to pull from the heel and pretend you're wearing like a vest and then with two hooks, and now you're being pulled up right over here. You have suspender and you're being pulled up to the skies. This is a reverse parachuting, right? You're not slowly falling down. You're being gently lifted up to the ceiling, okay? I like all these lights. I like all these graphics there. Thanks, Christian. Love it. Okay, so, but it's very important because the body mechanics is going to be different if you push from your toes versus pulling from the heel. That's why I love the lunges on the back of the Micro too, because you're forced to pull. You cannot push. And that is the best part about the exercise on the back end. Okay. Another thing too is when you do this exercise, you're going to keep your hips and your shoulders aligned. So when I'm looking at you from the back, basically you're keeping this stable. That's it. The torso, there's no twisting, there's no bending, there's no leaning forward, rounding. The back stays exactly the same. When you keep your back in an upright position and you're basically keeping all the way back on the heels, what's going to happen? Abs, okay? What everyone refers to as the core, which is not true because the abs are part of the core. The core is not the abs, right? Okay? You're going to feel those abs being engaged, and especially the transverse abdominis. When you're being pulled yourself up, all of a sudden you're going to feel right over here those abs engaged, and it's going to help you to bring yourself up. When you can connect the lunge with the abs, then you are doing it right. Excellent. Good job. Now, the lunge is a great exercise. I usually do about a couple minutes, but we have variations. So what's a variation? A variation is another way of doing a lunge. So the first variation is just a static hold, okay? So if you want to do a hold, that's where you would hold it, okay? Keeping that 90-degree angle in the legs, keeping the torso in an upright position, keeping the right leg completely straight. If you cannot maintain your body alignment, this is what I created the pole. Now I know this looks like a toilet plunger. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to work on the design. I promise. We're going to have new toilet plungers coming up for 2021. I promise. It doesn't look great. I totally get it, but it's phenomenal because it's there if you want. It's there if you don't. The pole is not there for you to cheat the form. It's there for you to keep your body alignment. That's all it is. Okay. So it's not a sign of weakness when you use the pole. Okay. It's to help you to stay in the proper alignment because a 1 minute hold in that position is a long time, let me tell you, okay? So you can hold it, okay? We also have a carriage kick option. So when you go ahead and bring the right knee back and forth. So the carriage kicks, you see, now you're moving the right leg back and forth. But when you do the carriage kick, this is what I want you to understand, is what we're still working here is what? When we do a left floor lunge, with carriage kick, what is the leg that we're working? Left or right? Come on, somebody's going to type something in that box. Left. Excellent. Oh, everybody say left. I love you guys. Thank you for paying attention. Yes, the right leg is challenging the isometric hold of the left leg. What we're working now is the left leg in an isometric way. The right leg is basically just distracting from that. It's trying to challenge. The movement of the right leg is trying to throw off, basically the holding position of the left leg, okay? And we do a lot of that in a lot of Lagree exercise. When we do skatings, with the kicks, when we do the runner's lunge. I mean, there's so many exercises are exactly like this, where you actually scramble legs exactly like this. Scramble leg, you're not working the leg that is moving, you're working the rest of the body because you want the rest of the body to stay stable, okay? So it's the same thing over here, okay? The other variation that we have is the pulse. Sorry about that. So for the pulse, when you do the pulse, there's two alignment now. You're going to have the left knee right above the left ankle, and then bend the right knee. And you're going to be in the right knee right underneath the right hip. And when you do the pulse, little pulse right there, that's it. You don't have time to come all the way up and go all the way down. So we stay within that golden angle position, and then you move the leg just a little bit up and down. Perfect. Just like Heather. That's it. That's the pulse. Excellent. Thank you. And of course, you have all the other variations when you master the floor lunge. And now you can do it perfectly. You can go 10 seconds down, 10 seconds up, or a minute down, a minute up. You're working your core, you're working everything. Everything is perfect. Then, at that point, we can decide to add upper body movement. So I don't have any dumbbells here, but what you can do is you can attach resistance bands to the front platform. You can grab some dumbbells, or you can use the pole over here. And then Heather's going to show you a few variation of the floor lunge with the pole. The classical one is really the biceps, okay? So you can do the biceps like this, right? Whenever you include upper body exercise into a lower body exercise, make sure that the lower body exercise are still proper, okay? We don't want the upper body exercise to come at the expense of the form of the lower body exercise. So always keep good form everywhere, okay? Now, I love adding, so now you have a front raise over here, right? You have the shoulder press. So as you lunge down, you can lift the pole up. I actually love that one. That's my favorite one. And the reason why I like it, as you go down, you press up. It actually feels like you're stretching your spine at the same time. And it helps you with your balance a lot, actually. Nice. Just like that. Perfect. You can also do like a chest press. So as you push the carriage out, you push the pole away from you. And this is, of course, working more the shoulders than the chest, but it would be like a chest press. Okay. I'm going to remove the pole. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about this. The twist. Okay, so put your hands on your hips. So you can twist also. There you go. So as you push your carriage out, you can twist one way or twist another. There you go. So what happens when you twist like that? Okay. Oh, look at that. Yes. There you go. Come up. Look at that. Okay, so I didn't know this one. Yes, she just made it up right here. What do you call this one? A twist? Look at that. I love that. Now, why do I love this one? Because now we go into triplanar movements. You know, you have 3 planes of motion. You have frontal, lateral. Is it sagittal? Is sagittal the other one? You have sagittal, frontal, lateral, something like that. I forgot the 3. Well, when you work in all 3 planes at the same time, it's called a triplanar movement. Okay, lots of benefits, a lot of coordination, mind-muscle coordination with this. And when you do a lunge, you can turn the lunge into a full body exercise and a triplanar movement. And for all the functional exercise freaks out there, they're going to love those ones because you're working all planes of motions together, and the body loves this. This is why this brain is so big like this, is to perform movements like that, okay? But not my brain. My brain is actually very tiny. I have a big head, but my brain is actually very small. I can hear it sometimes just like rolling inside from one ear to the next, you know? All right, so that's the floor lunge, okay? Any questions about this one? I spent a little bit more time on this one because every other lunge we're going to work on today is going to be taught exactly the same way. The only difference is going to be the position of the body. Any questions for you at home? Obliques, yeah, Joy, good. No questions? Moving on. Okay, so the floor lunge, okay? Now we have the elevator lunge. So for the elevator lunge, we have the foot on the platform, right foot on the carriage. Now, I understand that the platform is small. Okay, a lot of people say, well, I can't do the elevator lunge because the platform is too small. I'm 6'4", and I can use the platform. But because you're not supposed to have your toes on the platform, you only need enough room for your heel. That's all you need, okay? So you can curl your toes up. Your toes don't need to be on the platform, all right? So that platform is big enough for someone who's 7 feet tall to actually put their foot on the platform. You're supposed to balance the heel. That's it, okay? How's the form? The form is going to be identical. We're going to keep the left knee right above the left ankle. Heather's going to come to a full 90-degree golden angle position, okay? The torso is upright, and then slowly coming up. When she stands up on that left leg, she's not going to lock that knee. She's going to come almost to a full stand right over here, perfect, and then back down. Beautiful, and then slowly go back down to that golden angle position. right leg remains straight. Sometimes some people bend the right leg a little bit because they feel too much pressure in the hip flexor. That is totally fine. You can also do that. Okay, so leaning forward is a modification, and then bending that leg a little bit is also not a modification. But in a perfect world, your torso would be straight, and then your right leg would also be straight. Nice. Okay, what do we have here? We have carriage kick. So when you carriage kick, now you can keep your hands on your hips, or you can reach out for the handles. And what do I like about the what I like about the handle is this: is when you have your hands on the handles, now you have a lot less weight bearing on the left leg. So it's actually giving you a lot of support. This would be like you're doing a drop down set, right? You do first your set, you go up and down for a minute, and then you go halfway down, or in a golden angle. Then you put your hands on the handle, and now you're removing weight because you can actually support more of your body weight with the arms. Okay. Heather is very strong, and she's also very flexible. She's also able to do that variation where she basically has the hands on the platform and even the hands on the floor. If you can, you could do that absolutely, and that really, but only if you can keep good form, right? I'm not suggesting that you break your back in half trying to do this exercise, but if you can keep the good form, because Heather is excellent form, then you can do that absolutely, because it gets you in a deeper angle. The more you lean forward on this one or you reach down, the more you're going to get that guy right there, right? If you want that, you don't have to, but that's where it'll work. Okay. You have the carriage kick option, and then you have the pulse. Okay. I started to do the pulse, and when you do the pulse, by the way, the carriage is not moving, right? You stay in that same position and do a little pulse up and down. I started to do the pulse a lot when we did the 25-minute workout because I thought it was a great way to add some quick intensity within the same exercise. Usually when we do a pulse, I'll do a 30-second pulse, sometime a minute, it depends, but 30 seconds is plenty of time. So if you feel like you need to get a little more out of that set today, you could basically spend the last 30 seconds just pulsing, okay? The pulse don't have to be quick, okay? The pulse is basically just a micro movement. That's all it is, okay? Very nice. Again, over here, we can do this exercise with or without a spring. So the black spring is what I put for all the exercise, at least one black spring. But you could do it without the black spring and be totally fine as well. You're going to have the same variations as we did with the floor lunge, with the pole. So you can do biceps, shoulders. We'll show you a couple ones just in case you forgot already. Okay. So do like a bicep curl and a lunge. Okay. And again, I love it because here, this guy over here has to coordinate everything, and it's wonderful. It's just great. It keeps your mind off everything else, and then it really brings your mind present into the exercise. And I think that's why a lot of people think that Lagree is so mindful, and it is, but especially more mindful when your body has to really think about all this stuff that you're doing, right? Here, stay in that position, grab the pole like this. If you want to do another triplanar exercise, you can do the kayaking. Kayak. Oh my God, I haven't taught kayaking in probably over 10 years, guys. I just remember it right now. Love it. Look at that. This is actually, this is those guys in Venice. What do you call those guys? In the canals, yeah. Yeah, in the sort of gondolas or whatever. Gondolas, yeah. There you go. Okay, that's another great run right here. But when you start to add the upper body, Heather's doing fantastic. Make sure that you're not compromising the lower body. That's my whole point with this, okay? Only add the upper body exercise if you can do, if you can keep the proper form for everything. Any questions about this? I'm only going to show you one side, unless you want me to show you both legs, but it's going to be the same tutorial, right? It's going to be the same form. Any questions so far? Type your questions, please. Thank you. Oh, you love this one, Joy? You're going to do that one? Yeah, you like this one? It's all kinds. And by the way, that motion, the rowing, what else can you do this with? Come on. What else can you do this? Quick. Come on, guys, be quicker. I mean, I know it's the internet and all, but with weights, yeah, but what else? What's another? Like the super crunch, reverse super crunch. I used to do this all the time. The giant crunch on the Pro Former, if you took my class back in 2006, right, on the Pro Former, you'd be on the back end of the platform with your feet underneath the X strap, and then you grab the pole and you go left and then right like this. Really good. I forgot about this one. Guess what? If you guys are taking my class on Saturday, you motherfuckers, I will teach this exercise for you. Obliques, exactly. Yeah. You know, we'll do that. We'll do it. We'll mimic one on Saturday the 13th. We'll do an air one like this. You know, reverse super crunch. Right? Remind me that. Okay. Great. I love that because it just combines everything. This is how your body wants to work, by the way, guys. You know, your body wants to use a little bit of everything. You know. Okay. also, also sound like a Taco Bell snack. what, what sounds like a Taco Bell snack? Oh, the Super Crunch. I love it. Yes, I didn't think that. You know. All right. Okay, so we've done the floor lunge. Okay, the floor lunge is basically the quintessential lunge of all the machine. You always have this available on any machine that I make because it's just a great lunge. And if you don't have my equipment, you can also do it on the reformer, and you'll have the same benefit. Okay. So then we have the elevator lunge, and then the other one is the front lunge. And I love to do the front lunge. And I do it, the front lunge is exactly like the elevator lunge, except for one thing. And you guys are going to type it right here. Come on. One thing. What's the difference between the elevator lunge and the front lunge? Come on, guys. What is the difference between foot on the floor? Yes, absolutely. And then why does that matter? Why does it matter to have the foot on the floor versus the foot on the platform? Why? 5 inches. That's right. Good, Susan. Absolutely. So there's about a 5.5 inches difference between the top of the carriage and the floor. That separation, that distance is very significant. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to dig deeper within the glute and the hamstring. So I love the combination of doing, and you'll see that when I do my routine, I'll do a couple minutes, sometimes 3 minutes on the elevator, and then quickly, boom, go on the front, and then do the front lunge. I love it because the transition is very quick. It only takes a couple seconds, and then it's the same movement, and now you can go deeper into the left leg. So now, when Heather bends the left leg, she goes into that 90-degree angle. Actually, now she goes deeper than what she was before. Now she can really feel the glutes and the hamstring. Okay? Same body alignment, okay? Left knee always above the left ankle. She's going to go into that golden angle position, but it's going to be easier for her to go in the golden angle position because her right foot is slightly elevated. And now, when we do the carriage kicks, it's also, she's closer. It's also effortless to put the hands on the handles. I love when Heather actually put the hands on the platform. She puts her hands on the platform. Look at that. She goes way deeper on that one. That glute is working like a motherfucker right there. Glutes and hamstrings, sorry. Really amazing. And the fact that she's able to keep that torso in really good position, I love that. She does an amazing job with that really deep carriage kick. This is a deep carriage kick. You can also put the hands on the floor on that one too. I have no problem. And then you start to do some yoga now, basically. It becomes yogurt. We'll do the yogurt lunge. Because I can say yoga, right? So I say yogurt. No, I'm just kidding. I can say yoga. Okay. So we have the front lunge, okay? So we have the carriage kick version, and then you can put your hands back on the handles, and then we have the pulse. So when you do the pulse, bring the right knee forward a bit more. There you go. So the right knee should be basically aligned with the hip, and then you're almost tapping the knee on the rail when you do that one. And that is the front lunge pulse on the left side. Nice. Thank you, Heather. Nice. Okay. Oh, we're going to stay in that position right here. Okay. All right. So we did floor lunge, we did elevator lunge, and then we did basically the front lunge. Okay. Now, the only difference between the front lunge and the floor lunge is that your foot is directly in front of the platform versus the foot being the side of the platform. The alignment should be basically the same, okay? So there's not much of a difference between the front and the floor lunge, except for the position of the foot, okay? Now we're going to turn around, and then, so, by the way, right now what we're doing are the pulling exercise, okay? So I forgot to talk about this. So when you work out on the micro or the mega or the pro former, you basically have two types of movements. You have pulling and pushing. Now, When you move the carriage, you have to move the carriage out, and you have to bring the carriage in. So you always push the carriage out and pull the carriage in. But when you do a pulling exercise, it doesn't mean that you're not pushing the carriage out. You have to push the carriage out. But the focus, you're concentrating on the pulling phase of the carriage. When you do a pushing exercise, you also have to pull the carriage back in. But when you do a pushing exercise, you're not focusing on the pushing phase. You're concentrating on pushing the carriage out and then resisting the carriage on the way in, okay? So when you do a pulling exercise, the lighter the tension, the harder the exercise. When you do a pushing exercise, the heavier the tension, the harder the exercise. So it's the opposite, okay? Light tension on the pulling equal to hard, and heavy tension on the pushing equals to hard, okay? When you do a pushing exercise, for example, the more weight or the more springs you have, the more difficult it is. So it's very easy to understand because it's like a 5-pound dumbbell is lighter than a 10-pound dumbbells, okay? No worries. And then 10-pound heavier is heavier than 1-pound dumbbells, no problem. The math adds up, no problem. But when you do a pulling exercise, the 5-pound dumbbell is actually harder than the 10-pound dumbbells, and that a lot of people have a struggle with, okay? So on the website for each exercise, I wrote if it's a pulling or pushing exercise, okay? And then we'll do another tutorial, just a 5-minute tutorial just on the pulling and pushing, just so that you guys get it right, okay? So here's another pulling exercise. So we did right now all the pulling exercise that we did on the front of the the front of the micro are facing the front. Now we're going to be on the front of the micro facing the back, okay? The first one is called the Escalator Lunge. So the Escalator Lunge, you have your, do the right foot, yeah. Left foot on the platform, right foot on the carriage. So Christian, can you fetch the Escalator Lunge for me, please? Right leg. And then over here, when you do this exercise, same thing over here. As you lunge down, keep that knee right above the ankle the entire time as you move out and as you move in. A lot of people, when you do this exercise, have a tendency to move the knee all the way forward like that. That's what they do. And what happens here to the alignment? It's broken, okay? You don't want the leg to look like a Z, okay? You want the leg to be like perfectly aligned. Good. And then come back up and then go back down, okay? So 4 counts on the way out, 4 counts on the way in, keeping that right knee right above the ankle. When Heather lunges down, she's aligning the right hip with the right knee, so she keeps that 90-degree angle. Body's in a straight line or upright position, right? Gaze forward, shoulders in a socket, right? And then slowly, gently being pulled in, okay? So here, the more tension that we have from the springs, the more support, the easier it is for Heather to come up. So if we want to make this exercise easier, we must find a way to have more support or more spring tension, okay? So I'm going to ask the audience over here, giving this body alignment, this body positioning on the micro, if we want to make this easier for Heather, what type of adjustments are we looking for? Ooh, that was a question. Without adding a spring. Yes, you can always add a spring. That's correct. But if you're at home and you're doing the workout and you don't want to get off the machine, add a spring, and then get back on, what's a quick adjustment you can do to get a little bit more tension? You could, well, go slower. That might actually make it a bit more difficult. Smaller. Support or pull. Yeah, you can have the pull. All right, so what I'm looking for is moving the foot. Yes, we can move the back foot, or we can move the front foot, or we can move both. Where do we move the back foot? If you want to add more support, if we want to get more resistance from the same spring, right? If we're going to adjust the position of the left foot, where we put the foot? Do we move the foot back or the back foot? Do we move the back foot back or do we move the back foot forward? Forward. Nice, Diana. Yes. Okay. Why? Because if we move the left foot forward on the platform, now when Heather does the exact same range of motion, look at the carriage. He goes to almost number 4 now. So when that carriage goes further out, you are automatically getting more support or more tension from the spring. Okay, so this is why I put those numbers here, by the way, because we're going to use that a lot when we do the all the on-demand classes, live classes. We're going to use those numbers to gauge 2 things: range of motion and also the amount of tension we get from the spring. So Now Heather has moved the left foot back or left foot forward. Now she's able to get more support from the same spring. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and put your foot back in the middle of the platform. There you go. So the other option for Heather is now to move the right foot even all the way forward if she can. Well, that would be less, but all right here, yes. So basically, you know, if now Heather puts her foot all the way on the front of the carriage, same thing is going to happen over here. She's going to bring that foot, she's bringing the carriage closer to the rear platform. And now, if she's moving the left foot forward on the platform, now she'll be able to go all the way out, where she touches basically the platform right there. You see that? Okay, perfect. So there's a quick adjustment. But yes, of course, you can always add spring. You can take off the springs. But if you're in a hurry and you don't have time for that, you can also make small adjustments to your feet position, and you can pretty much get the same effect. This is why I love to teach classes on this machine, is because you can essentially have 20 people working out with the same spring, but because of their body positioning, they're all going to work against a different range of tension from that same spring. So it's perfect for a class, a group class. All right, so we have the escalator lunge. We have the carriage kick. Now, when you do the carriage kick, basically, I want you to pretend that you're rolling the heel forward, back and forth, right? So you're going to keep the left leg straight on this one, and you're really kicking from the right heel. The right heel is kind of rolling up and down like that. All right, so that's the carriage kick. Okay, the other one you can do, you can bend the left leg a little bit, stay right there. We can do the pulse. Okay, so for the pulse, you have to bend the back leg. Ooh, look at it shaking there. I love it. Or you have my favorite, the Moonwalker. So Heather's going to show the Moonwalker. For the Moonwalker, we're going to keep the right leg bent now. We're no longer moving that right leg. We're pushing from the left leg. Again here, the left leg, the movement of the left leg is trying to challenge the stability and the body alignment of the right leg and the torso. Okay? So remember that when you press from the left leg, you want to keep the body still. That's it. So the right leg and the torso does not move. And that's the same form for the Mega, guys, by the way. Okay, so that tutorial today for the Micro is the same for the Mega. And yes, we will do a tutorial for the Mega as well. I'll do it for all the machines, okay, since you guys love them so much. All right, so escalator lunge. Any questions about this one? Moving forward, moving on. Okay. The next one is the Escalator 2. So the Escalator 2 is not possible on the Mega. It's not possible on the Mega because the Mega is just too far off the ground. It's about 18 inches off the ground, too far. But 5.5 inches, that's more manageable. So now we have the left foot on the floor, and we have the right foot on the carriage. The escalator lunge is going to be done the exact same way as you have done it for the escalator lunge number 2 will be done the exact same way as escalator lunge number 1, okay? Except for one difference. What is that difference? The foot is on the floor, right? So again, you have that 5.5 inches difference. And again, here it allows Heather to go deeper in the right glutes. And you can see it over here. Stay right there, Heather. And Christian, draw me that beautiful line. And I want you to draw the line, yeah, from the right hip to the right knee, and from the right knee to the right ankle. And I want to see a nice 90-degree angle. And Heather's cool. She can hang there. No problem. Take your time. Yeah, this and that. Yeah, that's it. There you go. That's one. And then give me another line. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. All right, so stay right there. Okay, so look at that. That's what you're looking for right there. Beautiful. That's fantastic. And now, Heather, from that position, do the carriage kick. And when you do carriage kick, see the right knee is not supposed to move that much. You're supposed to stay right in that alignment. Beautiful. That's it. Oh, I love this. That's it. That's perfect. That's it. Right there. Yeah, that's it. So you see the carriage kick? The foot is very minimum. We cannot extend the leg too much because then it messes up the body alignment. I love this. This is great. You see that? This is fantastic. Yes. Okay, so we have carriage kicks for the escalator lunge 2. If you bend that left leg a little bit, we can go into the pulse. Okay, and then of course you have the the moonwalker. Moonwalker is when you bend and straighten the back leg. That's it. Very nice. Excellent. A little applaud for Heather over here, okay? Because that shit is difficult, guys, okay? And especially when you do like a demo after another demo after another demo, because I talk forever and Heather's just like, oh my God, you know. Are you moving on? Okay, so we've done floor lunge, elevator, front lunge. Then we did the escalator facing the back, and then we did basically the escalator 2. Okay. Now we're gonna go on the back. For the back, I'm gonna demo it, or Heather's gonna demo it, without the spring. So I realize that the black spring is a little strong for the back end. So I am coming up. There's gonna be, I think, in 2 months. No, I think in a few weeks I'm getting the first sample. There's going to be 2 more springs that you will be able to get for your micro. I'm going to do a spring that is in between the red and the black, and that spring is going to be a white spring. And I'm also going to make an ultra light spring called the gray spring, and the gray spring will be half of the black. And I think the gray spring will be much better for, or much better suited for the express lunge. Okay, express lunge. You call the carriage out. Okay, you're going to have a foot on the platform, and then you're going to have a foot on the carriage. So now this is another pulling exercise, but now you're doing on the back of the micro. So now when you do pulling exercise on the back of the micro, we are changing the rules, guys, and I'm sorry, this is the way it is. You have on the micro 3 machines in one. You can do pulling and pushing exercise on the front of the micro, and you can do pulling exercise on the back of the micro. When you do pulling exercise on the back of the micro, the rules are the same as the pushing exercise on the front. And you're like, oh my God, this is too much information, and your brain will like this, right? Blows up. On the back of the micro, the more tension you have, the more difficult it is. Simple, right? 1 plus 1 equals 2. Love it. All right. When you do pushing exercise on the front of the micro, the heavier it is, or the more tension you have, the more difficult it is. Oh, again, perfect. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Great. Love the math. It's only when you do pulling exercise on the front of the micro that 1 plus 1 equals 3. And that fucks people up. So remember, 3 machines in one, just like the Mega. 2 on the front, 1 on the back. Pulling, pushing exercise on the front, pulling exercise on the back. Now, on the back is very simple. If it's too heavy, make it lighter. So how can we make this, a little easier for Heather? Well, when you do exercise on the back of the micro, you're going to have to essentially move your foot all the way forward on the carriage. But here the carriage of the micro is very small. So the other way to make this, or you can actually put your foot on the ring of fire as well. So essentially on the express lunge, if you want to make this a little easier, you're going to have to reduce your range of motion, okay? Sure, you can take off the spring, but when you take off the spring, you're not doing exercise, you're no longer doing a pulling exercise. So taking off the spring here is a modification, but it's not really a modification because you're changing the nature of the exercise. You're supposed to pull against the tension. So you can do without the spring. We're doing the demo without the spring because Heather's going to be here for quite a bit. And then also that spring is kind of strong. So you can use the strap on the carriage to help you to anchor your foot as well. That makes definitely a little easier. But definitely changing the range of motion or making the range of motion shorter will make the exercise a little easier. Here we're going to have the same body alignment. We're going to keep the left knee above the left ankle. When Heather bends the left leg, she goes into that 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle hold, or that golden position, right? Golden angle. Torso's in upright position. Perfect. Right leg is straight. Same, basically, alignment when you do this exercise. Your variations are going to be the same. Variations, you can hold it there with the carriage kick, with the right leg goes in and out. Beautiful. We have the pulse that you can do. So when you do the pulse, you're going to keep the right knee right above the right ankle. Okay. As with all the other lunges, you can combine upper body exercise with the lower body movement. That's not a problem, although the express lunge is pretty challenging in itself. Good. Any questions about the express lunge? Oh, question. Where would the other spring go? Okay, so you're gonna have to replace them. We're gonna show you a video. It's very easy to swap the springs, and then basically you would take one of your red spring out and then just swap it out. You know, if you want to have a lighter spring. So you know, you don't have to do it, but we will give you more options for the springs. Yes, I think you'll be more excited about the gray spring because definitely, you know, like when you do upper body exercise on the back end, like when you do reverse giant wheelbarrow or giant wheelbarrow, the black spring is totally fine. But really, for the express lunge and the fifth lunge, the black spring can be a little bit of a challenge, you know. So I think the gray spring is going to work out really well. If you guys like to do those exercises, I think you would like to have the gray spring. That's really the reason why I built it because I realized, okay, the black spring is a little too much. Still doable, but a little too much. Okay, express lunge on the back end. It's impossible for me. I'm weak to do the lunge on the back. Yes, so I think for you, Karen, I think that you will love the great spring. It's definitely going to make it much easier. Yes, yes. Okay, now, so on the front, I don't know if you remember, we had the elevated lunge, and then we did the front lunge. So on the back, we can do the same thing. We can do the express lunge, and right after the express lunge, we do the back lunge. So the back lunge is basically your reverse front lunge, right? So you have your foot on the floor, foot on the carriage, and now you're working against the tension from the springs. Good. Over here, so Heather put a spring on. She has a black spring. You can use the pole for support. And I'm also going to show you something else you can do to help you. So for Karen, you know, with the spring being heavy, what you can do is you can actually use the cables. You can use the cable to assist. And then I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Good. Keep going, Heather. All right. And then I'm going to grab the carriage, and you can take a quick break. And then you can move your foot out if you want to. Perfect. All right. So if you have these, right, you can actually use those to do two things. You can use those to help you bring the carriage to you or get yourself set up in the right position. There you go. Thank you. So let's say that you want to do an express lunge. You can actually step on the platform. Yeah, you want to do that? There you go. I much prefer when Heather does it. Okay, yeah. So there you go. That's it. We're going to one more time in slow motion. Take your foot out. All right, so here's what you would do. Here, turn around. Okay. Oh yeah, and then so you can make those cables shorter too. I don't know if you noticed that, but you have 3D rings, right? So you can actually Heather's putting on the middle one here. So first you would grab the hand, you attach your cables, right? You would step, you grab the handles, you pull the carriage out, and then you can step right there. And so that is the way I would recommend if you have the cables to get in position because now you feel more in control, okay? So now you can actually use the handles if you want to help you a little bit, but I really want to make sure that when you do this exercise that you're not pulling from the arms. You can assist from the arms, but it's really a leg exercise, okay? So I'm showing you this, but I'm a little worried that now you're going to do this all the time, and then you're going to start to work the straps a lot, and you don't want to get big traps, okay? Because that's what will happen. So just you can use this handle to set yourself up in position, right? And then when you do the exercise, you can use the handle to help you a little bit, but make sure that you're doing all the lift, really most of the lift from the legs, if that makes sense. Okay? Karen, you like that one? Yes, I see the thumbs up. Okay, do you have the cables at home? Yep. Okay, perfect. So that will be a way to assist you until basically the gray cables, the gray springs arrive. When you have the gray spring, I don't think you'll need the red handles anymore. You're welcome, guys. Yes? Okay, good. So try that. This is really good. So you could actually use that for a few exercises. For the express lunge, for the back lunge, and you can also do it for the fifth lunge. So Now we have the back lunge. We're going to turn around, go into the fifth lunge. Oh, and by the way, there's two fifth lunge. So I think instead of calling the fifth lunge number 2, I'm going to call it the sixth lunge. There you go. So that's going to change immediately on the on LagreeHome.com. Now we have a sixth lunge. Oh yeah, baby. We're so good. Now look at this. So now you can have the cables here. So you might want to grab the cables a little. Yeah. So these definitely, you're probably going to have to grab it a little quicker, and you could use the cables here to help you with the spring. Okay, so that's the way to do it. Now, the fifth lunge is done exactly the same way as we did all the other lunges. So we're going to keep the right leg straight. When we bend the left leg, we're going to go in that body alignment, hip and knee, keeping the ankle right underneath the knee. So you see, look at that beautiful geometry right over here. See? Love it. Right there. That's perfect. Great. And Christian, that's it. Another line for me, please. Love it, love it, love it. Perfect. Thank you. So that's the golden angle. That's what you're aiming for. Okay? From that position, you can do the pulse, you can do the kicks, and then you can do the Moonwalker. Now, the Moonwalker is a biatch on the micro. I'm sorry, guys. This is some exercises are really difficult, except for Daron. Daron is superhuman, so he can do all that stuff. Daron can do like a one-figure push-up, so for him that's not a problem. So there you go, and then so right over here, that's the Moonwalker. Fantastic. I mean, look at that. That is actually really good. Look at the alignment over here. It's not moving. It's the same alignment and moving the right leg. Love it. All right, perfect. Be careful when you dismount on this one, okay? Now let's go into the sixth lunge. Sixth lunge. Sixth lunge is going to be the fifth lunge, except that now you have your foot on the floor, okay? So same thing over here. I think for most of you, you might find the sixth lunge actually easier than the fifth lunge, okay? Because another thing I forgot to tell you about is your balance. When you have one foot, when your feet are not properly level, you're going to have a stronger balance when you have both feet on the same level, okay? Like it's easier to balance when you do a front lunge than when you do an elevator lunge, for example. It's easier to balance when you do an Escalator Lunge 2 versus an Escalator Lunge 1. It's easier to balance if you do the sixth lunge versus the fifth lunge, okay? So on this one, you should have a little bit more strength to do that. Good. Body alignment is going to be the same thing. Left knee above the left ankle. Hip and the hip bone is going to be, when you bend the left leg, you want the hip bone to be at the same level as the knee. Upright position, chin up, chest out. Heather, am I forgetting something? So far, so good. Variations, you're going to have the same variations, guys. The kick. You have the Moonwalker. I love the Moonwalker. Yeah. That's it. Now, when you do the Moonwalker, I don't know if you see that. Darwin, if you can zoom in into Heather's ab, do you guys see over here? You see the abs kind of being pulled in? You can see her abs working right there. Okay, that's why I love this exercise so much. And zoom in into that. Don't zoom my stomach. Zoom on her stomach. There you go. All right. You can see those abs just being pulled in. Nice. Yes. Very good. Because what happens is your body now starts to use everything it has to stay in that position and then do the exercise. Very good. Excellent. Well done. Nice. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions at all? No? You guys are good? All right. Remember, now is a good time to ask. Okay. All right. So we've done the pulling exercise. We've done there's another exercise. There's also the reverse floor lunge if you want to, when you have basically a foot on the side. I don't think I did an animation for that one. I don't think I'm going to, unless you really want to see that one. But you have the back lunge, and then you have, what do you call this? The reverse floor lunge, right? Yeah. So the reverse floor lunge is basically the back lunge, except that your foot is not aligned with the platform. It's on the side, okay? This probably would be like the easiest of all the lunges you have done on the back, okay? Why? Because now your foot is actually a little closer in, When you do a back lunge, your foot is stuck right there behind the micro. So you have a certain distance that you can't basically change. But when you do the reverse floor lunge, you can have your foot anywhere you want on the floor here. Okay, very good. We have one more lunge on the back, which is called a stationary lunge. Okay, so stationary lunge. You can do two black. Yeah. So for the stationary lunge, the amount of spring is going to depend on the exercise that you want to do. If you're going to do an upper body exercise, like an arm exercise, you might want to use one black, two black. If you do like a rowing exercise, you could probably use a red spring. By the way, if you use a red spring, though, be careful because you might actually move the carriage. I mean, you might move the entire machine to you. We're going to show you that right now. So right now with two black spring, you're fine. And then you can basically roll back. And what I like about this version right here, and Heather's doing a phenomenal job. By the way, you look so good right there on that camera like this. Looks great. I love that. It looks really good. And the color and everything. Love it. Yeah, and I like those pants like that too, by the way. Looks really good. So over here, what happened is this. So when Heather's pulling on the handles, she's basically she's able to negate the effect, not negate, but she's able to counteract the effect of gravity, because gravity is pulling her down, but she's able to actually move back and then keep the weight back on the heel, even though gravity will put a weight basically on the toes, because she's using the tension from the carriage. So the tension from the carriage is almost counterbalancing her torso, and she's able to keep that really good form, because now neither of her feet are on the carriage, so she's not benefiting from the support of the spring, yet the spring is supporting her in that exercise another way, and it's really helping her to keep the weight back on the heel. So I like the stationary lunge. I'm going to add the red spring just to show you what's going to happen to the micro. So if you add the red spring, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, wash your toes. You see how the carriage is moving? Yes, dangerous. Y'all do it. I'm dragging the carriage. All right? There you go. So if you want to use a red spring, you're going to have a foot like over here. You're going to have to block it. Right? And then you can do it this way. Right? Something is a snap. Right there. Keeping the back straight, right? Woo, I kind of like this roll like this. Perfect. I kind of like that, wedging my foot forward, having my foot back right over here. Press the heel, right? You want to have the heel to block it. But I kind of like that because I can feel this right here, baby. Oh, yeah. Double A grade meat, baby. Back straight. All right, keeping the feet aligned, back straight. I kind of like that, doing like a version of a rowing like this. This feels really good. I can really feel that leg, the tension. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I like it. Yeah. I can really feel those lats, and I feel my glute. Yeah. It's just the back foot that I have to kind of figure it out. But I like it. Yeah. Perfect. Kind of learning. Heart rate is up right here. Whew. Oh, I'm so out of shape, I swear. Oh, 1 minute of that one. Okay. So if you use that red spring, make sure you put that foot. Yeah, great demo, Heather. Yes. Side lunge. Are you talking about these lunge like this? Are you talking about this side lunge right over here? Heather? Yeah. We did all the pulling exercise, but now we're going to show you the pushing exercise. So, Heather, come back at us with this one if that's the one you're talking about. I'm going to remove the cables. You can keep the cuffs, yeah. Okay. Side lunge, bend the carriage leg. Spider probably. Okay. Heather, I'm still not sure what you want to do when you made a side lunge, but we're going to go into the runner's lunge, okay? So for pushing exercise, for the pushing lunge, we have the runner's lunge. Well, my heart rate is still up from that other one. I'm just like, man, this is like, that shit really works. All right. You're going to have, for the runner's lunge, you're going to have the front leg bent, okay? So the front leg is not moving. You're going to move the carriage back and forth with the left leg, okay, if you have your right foot forward. Now, keeping the right knee right above the ankle, dropping the hip down to the level of the right knee, keeping the hips and the shoulder square. Christian, can we get a top view on this one? Yes, perfect. And I want you to draw a rectangle from the shoulders to the hips over here. Rectangle right there. Because basically when Heather is pushing the carriage back and forth, she's going to keep her hips perfectly aligned the shoulder, and that trunk is not moving. Nice. Good job, Christian. That's it. Yes. So a lot of people, when they do runner's lunge, they're not aware that what they do is they kind of start to they kind of twist, they kind of rotate, kind of bend the spine. Yes, exactly. We don't want that. That spine remains completely still. Perfect. The right leg remains completely still. Earlier, I was talking about the left leg challenging the isometric hold of the right leg. It's the same thing over here, okay? So what we're working here is the isometric hold of the right leg. We want to keep the right leg and the rest of the body, the torso, completely still and at the right alignment. The job of the left leg is to try to disturb all of that stuff. So the left leg, when you push the left leg out, when you extend, when you kick the left leg out and back, basically the force is trying now to shift your body. It's going to try to shift your center of gravity. It's going to try to shift the alignment of the shoulders. It's going to try to shift your torso, shift your hips, shift everything. But you're not going to let that happen, and that's the runner's lunge. That's the exercise. When you do scrambled eggs, all the other exercise, in a very similar way, that's the exercise. The exercise is to maintain that body alignment, even though there's a force that's trying to kind of push you. I hope that makes sense. So for the runner's lunge, this is exactly what we're doing over here. Only the right leg is moving, but everything else is working. So when you modify the runner's lunge, you want to modify it so that you are able to maintain the hold with the left leg in this case, because the left foot is on the platform, and the torso. I hope that makes sense. And Heather's doing a phenomenal job here. Again, you can have the hands on the handles, okay? But you can also put the hands on the floor, on the platform, exactly. And when your hands are on the platform and when your hands are on the floor, you dig deeper into that left leg. Nice. The variations that I do for the runner's lunge, only one is really the pulse. So for the pulse, we keep both knees and hips aligned, and we pulse up and down, just like that. Nice. I know Heather makes everything look so easy. I know, right? You get on it, it's just like, I can do this. No, I can't do this. What angle should be upper body for the runner? Lunge, not upright like other lunge. No, so correct. So on that one, you have to lean forward because of the force that you're getting. And essentially, if you bring me a side shot, although, this is a gorgeous shot right there. Side shot, go ahead and press stay right there. Perfect. I love that shot, Christian. Now go ahead and straighten the right leg, Heather. There you go. So hold it right there. And now, Christian, I want you to draw a line from this ankle to the knee, to the hips, to the shoulders, to the head. And basically, it should be all one straight line. That's how far, that's your body alignment. There you go. To the ears, go all the way to the ears. There you go, right there. Perfect. Nice. Okay. So essentially, that's the body alignment. So it depends how far you kick the leg. But that basically, so if you were going to lean forward more, then you would want to have the right leg aligned with your torso. But that's the body alignment. So I'm not looking for a specific number, like 45-degree angle or 60-degree angle. What I'm looking for is that basically at the hip joint, I have the same angle here and the same angle there. There you go. Perfect. Does that make sense? Jean? Okay, perfect. Now remember that the form is also going to change depending on the ratio from the legs to the torso. Some people have very long legs and a short torso. Some people have a long torso and short legs. So that is also going to affect the angle in those cases. So that's why I can't really give you a specific number, but basically that's the general idea. When you do the class on the micro or the mega or the pro former, you're looking at angles that kind of make sense, so the 45-degree, the 90-degree angle, parallel, that makes sense. When you do tilted motions like that, you look at everything else and you try to keep those angles somewhat balanced. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. You have runner's lunge 1, and then you have runner's lunge 2. I fucking love runner's lunge 2. I teach it all the time now. Yeah, I put it on the floor. You have to show me that one because I don't think I have the other one. Did you create another lunge? Oh my God. More lunges for you. By the end of the year, we're going to have 300 fucking lunges. All right. So, knee. So, why do I like this one better? So, by the way, runner's lunge 2 is probably a modification, or it's not probably, it is a modification of runner's lunge 1. Why? Because it's actually easier when your foot is on the floor because you can cheat the form a little bit because now you have 5.5 inches difference, which is going to help you. So on this one, you don't have to bend so much and you still get the same effect, okay? When you do runner's lunge 2, you can place your hands on the handles or you can place your hands on the floor, and I love this one. Now, by the way, this is interesting because when you put your hands on the floor like this, there are all kinds of crazy combination that comes to my mind, you know. And here, stay right there since we're on it now. Keep your hands flat on the floor. Now keep all the tension on the right leg. Kick the left leg back. And yeah, there you go. That's it. Look at that. You know, now we're perfect. We're all like ready to do some crazy, you know, upper body stuff. Yeah. So I was doing the, what's it called? The mountain climber. So keep one leg straight, bend one leg, and then switch. There you go. Oh, look at that. And then drop the hips down a little bit more for me. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. Look at that. That's not a lunge. I'm sorry, guys. I had to show you that. But I was doing that yesterday. Yeah, I like that. This is a good one. So you do runner's lunge 2, and then go. You go to mountain climber, get the heart rate up a little bit, do it for about a minute, and then boom, you swap back into runner's lunge 2 on the other side, runner's lunge 1, boom, and that's it. You're done. Quick routine. Love that one. Yes. Nice. Good, huh? Yeah. And come up perfect. And that's what I wanted to show you guys. And I don't want to show you this one, but I love, you know, for many years, I thought I was kind of getting stuck with the Mega. I love the Mega, don't get me wrong, right? But, you know, when you lower the machine, it's just amazing how you can integrate all this cool exercise and you come up with so many more things. I love this combo, by the way. I mean, biomechanically speaking, it's fantastic. You know, the progression of the set is, I love it. Fantastic. Okay, hang on a sec. You guys are good on the runner's lunge number 2? Yes, Karen, you're welcome. That is torture. That's all I think about all day long. How can I torture my lovely, lovely, loyal Lagree lovers? You know, and there you go. We found another one. Okay, so now you have the reverse runner's lunge. So this is not, we don't have an animation for this one. Show me this one. Oh, yeah. Okay. I love that. Yes. Okay, this is really good. Yeah. Okay, so that will be reverse runner's lunge right there. So same spring. So reverse runner's lunge, that's going to be done for red spring. Okay, you need the heavy spring on that one. It's very different. Okay, there's a reason because now you work the same. You work different muscle fibers within the same leg. Okay. When I do my classes on the Mega and on the Micro, you'll see I do a mix of pulling and pushing exercise for the lunges, and that's to work basically the muscular fiber, different muscular fibers within the same group. But okay, so that is reverse runner's lunge. Foot on the platform. You make sure you have to anchor your foot on the front platform, and then you definitely want the strap for that one. You want to anchor, and then Darwin, if you want to zoom in right here, you definitely want the little strap on the carriage for that, because otherwise your foot is going to be just going all over the place, and then you don't want that. And then so you have runner's lunge where she kicks with the back knee, or runner's lunge with the front knee. I love that one, Heather. We're definitely going to put the animation for that one. Yes, love that. And I might put the animation for that one. I'm definitely putting the animation for that that mountain climb. It's good, huh? You like that? It worked the triceps pretty good too. The heavy? Yeah, I like that. Okay, so reverse runner's lunge. Any questions? So it's going to be the same body alignment, guys, okay? Hips, shoulders. Basically, you want to make sure that everything is aligned, okay? 90 degree, it's perpendicular, right? Or it's parallel, right? Everything is just really easy. Yes, I think I die. I'll try that mountain climber. Okay, yeah, make sure that, yeah, try that. We're going to show you the mountain climber one more time, okay? All right, go back. For the mountain climber, I like the hands on the floor, by the way, because you can actually gauge the amount of resistance you want much better. But what you want is really make sure that only one leg is hooked up to the carriage and the other leg is free floating. So when you do like a soul train, it's the same thing, right? You have one foot that is hooked and one foot that is not, but both legs are performing the same action. You're bending and straightening both legs. Sometimes it's messing up people because they want to they want to do the same exercise or the same movement of both legs at the same time, but that's what you have to do over here. Nice, Heather, good. You can see the triceps, shoulders, chest, love that one. Excellent. All right, so that'd be the mountain climber. Yes, I'll put the animation for that one. Okay. All right. Now, we're not done for the lunge, right? There's more lunges, okay? We have the Spider Lunge. I love the Spider Lunge is so good. So the Spider Lunge is another exercise where basically the moving leg, okay, is not the leg that we're working on. It's the static holding leg, okay? Christian, can I get a bird eye view on this one? Yes. And then we can't zoom in, right? Okay. So if you look at a foot over here, it's perfectly laid against the, and then maybe you can zoom in you. Yeah. There you go. Oh, somewhat. Okay. So you can see how the foot is actually right over here, you know. You know, it might not be a bad idea for me to have a handheld camera. And I can just go like this and then show. Yeah? Yeah, POV. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I could do that, yeah. And I can really show right over here. And that actually might be easier for you guys. Yes? What do you think at home? See? Creativity, just like right in front of your eyes, guys. You're welcome. It's like a show. It's educational and it's entertaining at the same time. All right. So here, what I love about Heather, look at that body alignment again, okay? She's got that left knee right above the ankle. That doesn't change. The femur is parallel to the ground. If I look at a bird eye view from the hips and the shoulder, her torso is completely square. That doesn't move. Thank you, Christian. And now it's basically the action of the right leg. So the right leg is moving the carriage back and forth, but what we're mindful of is that left leg. We are still working the left leg in an isometric hold, okay? I see some people, when they bend and straighten the right leg, they kind of raise the hips up and down. That is not the spider kick. And I've seen the same thing for the runner's lunge. That is not the runner's lunge. When you do the runner's lunge, the spider kick, you're supposed to keep this left leg and torso completely still. It's not moving, okay? It's just the right leg. So in your mind, you have to almost separate your right leg from the rest of the body. And that's, you have to compartmentalize basically body parts when you do this type of exercise. Good, excellent. If you're gonna do a pulse, you have to bend the right leg a little bit. Again, aligning the knee with the hip, and then you can do a little pulse over here. And then remember that the pulse is a very tiny, it's a micro burst of exercise. Very nice. And then come up. Perfect. Excellent. All right. Okay. What else do we have? I think we did all the lunges. Yeah, I think we did. Oh, it's 6:18. Okay. Yeah, I think that we covered all the lunges. That is correct. Is that normal? I need to check my form. No, that is correct. Absolutely. Yes, you're going to feel a burning sensation in the quads and the hamstrings. So remember that when we do the lunges, it's not like the way I do it, pushing from the heel, it's not going to bypass the quad. You are going to work the quads, absolutely. But the focus is on the back of the thigh. But you're still working the quads, so absolutely. If you will feel a burn in the quads, you will definitely feel that. Absolutely, yes. If you're doing it correctly, you will feel not only the quads, but you're going to feel the glutes and the hamstring and the inner thighs and the outer thighs as well. And that's what's important, to be in that perfect alignment. Now, if you feel like too much of the quads, then on those pushing lunges, then maybe using too much tension. So the way to compensate for that is by moving your foot on the floor. So for the runner's lunge over here, for the spider lunge, if Heather pushes her foot all the way forward, she's going to get a lot less tension, okay? So that's going to be a lot easier for her to do that. If we move the foot back, then you're going to get more tension, and now it's way more difficult. And you can see it because you can see that the carriage is traveling further out. So this will be a harder version of the spider kick. And then go ahead and move your foot back in the front, Heather. And that would be an easier. Look at that, sliding like this. See? True professional. That's it. Using mind over matter. That's it. Okay, so that would be easy, and then moving the foot back would be harder. There you go, and that would be more difficult. And I hope you can see why, and that's because you basically, you're moving the carriage further out. You're welcome, Sarah. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we went over time a little bit. I was supposed to have a conference call 20 minutes ago, so I guess I'm going to join late for that one. Hey, listen, it's been wonderful. Heather, you are the best. I love you. Thank you. We're going to do another tutorial probably at in the next few weeks. I want to do the one about the side planks because we haven't done that one right now.
Yeah, we said the next one's going to be planks.
Planks. Okay.
Darvin and I just scheduled that for you.
Okay. So.
We'll let you guys know. We haven't told Sebastien.
Okay. Yes. So we'll do that. And then don't worry, we'll do a tutorial on everything. And then if you have other topics you want us to cover, any questions, please email us at info@lagreefitness.com. And then our goal is to answer every single one of your questions, okay? Because we're not there with you at home. We can't check your form, so you need to understand the form. Because when you have proper form, two things going to happen. Number one, you're going to target the right muscle. Number two, you're going to reduce the risk of injury. And that's the one that I'm really concerned about because I don't want you to do it wrong at home, okay? I see bad form all the time. So please, please, please ask us a bunch of questions and we'll do our best to answer. And we're here for you, absolutely. And we love you, and thank you for watching, guys. I think I've done better than Trump. All right. Bye. Very good.